We've been going around. Oh, what's that doing?
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on here. We're having some technical stuff. But we have been going around to different schools and giving presentations for the students about how to be safe online, how to like kind of red flags to look out for regarding predators, and then also to the parents about what to look out for and what to do if your child is victimized, like how to handle that. Because ultimately, I always say if we can reach the students and the parents ahead of time, we can prevent their child from being a victim. We love questions, so please, if you have questions, we'll wait till the end, and please ask them. If you think of something later, pass along to the school, they can pass along to us and we'll make sure to answer it. And then regarding this presentation that we're showing you, this is the one that we typically show to middle school and high schools. And we'll talk about things specific to parents, but I think it's a good idea for you to kind of see what the students may be dealing with and what they may be seeing online. And then we'll talk about ways that you can prevent some of the problems that we see. Okay, so we just talked to the students about risky behaviors online, and that's going to be sending like mean or rude messages, sharing inappropriate photos, talking about adult subjects, and visiting adult websites. Out of these, we always show them this, slide and say which one is the online predator, and it never fails. About every student says 3, but it's a little more difficult than that, because online predators literally could be any picture right here. It could be any person. So what we always like to tell the students and parents is it doesn't have to fit a certain mold. It doesn't have to be a certain person. It can be anybody. And then especially when you're talking about online, anybody can hide behind a fake picture, a fake profile, anything like that. So this is what we typically see with our cases involving online predators. They're typically male. They're usually pretty honest about being adults and not necessarily to begin with. They might lie about their age to begin with, or they might tell them their age, or they might tell them they're an adult, but lie about exactly how old they are. They target females and males, and that's usually pretty surprising to parents and the students that we talk to, because a lot of times I think people think like females are more at risk for predators. Females are more at risk to become victims of a crime like this, but they target females and males. We've had cases with both. They're pretty clear about their intentions. Again, maybe not to begin with. They might just find a common interest with the child. They might engage in some sort of like grooming behaviors, but then eventually their intentions are very clear with the way the conversation goes, and they are usually attracted by certain behaviors.
So this next video we're about to show, it is based on 2 true stories. It's basically 2 individuals who decided when they were younger, I believe at the time they were minors, they decided to speak to strangers online. And this is why we always try to tell them, if you don't know the person, you shouldn't be speaking to them. So that's the number 1 rule. If you don't know them and never met them in person, there's no need to be speaking to anyone over online that you don't know.
Is there supposed to be sound on this? Because I'm not hearing any sound.
Yeah, me neither. Here, let me. It looks like you have to.
I may need to share with sound.
Detective, you want to pause it a second?
Yeah, there you go. Okay. It's better to meet in person with someone I'd met on the internet. But one day when school was dismissed early, there was someone waiting for me at my front door. I never thought I'd find myself in this situation. I learned the hard way that no matter who you think you're talking to online, there are people out there looking to hurt you. It doesn't matter if they're male or female, or if they look a little rough around the edges, or even if they're the most beautiful person. people exist online and in the real world.
It happened to me too. I was 14 and someone online sent me a private message. I shouldn't have responded, but I messaged back and 7 days later, agreed to be picked up outside of my house at midnight. I was taken to another house and what happened there was terrifying. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. I felt numb and powerless and didn't know what to do. I was too afraid to tell my parents and ashamed of what everyone would think of me. But hiding it was a mistake. I saw the car that I was taking and driving around my neighborhood all summer long. Was I being targeted again, or was someone else being victimized? I finally decided to tell someone.
I have to live with the decision I made to trust someone I met on the internet.
But the important thing is that I told someone. I'm not a victim, but a survivor.
So when I always kind of like talking to the parents about this after they watch the video, a lot of cases we work, or one very common case that we work is called sextortion. And what that is where you have someone who's an online predator and they target kids or minors, whether it be like through apps such as Snapchat or Instagram. Those are the two most common ones. And they talk to them about, they like try to befriend them, they groom them, and then eventually they'll start asking for, you know, pictures in their bathing suit, something revealing, and then eventually they'll start asking for naked pictures or naked videos. And then once the child or the minor sends the videos to them, they will say, hey, if you don't send me 15 more videos, I will send this out to all of your friends, to your parents, to the school, to whoever. And then the children keep sending videos and they keep sending messages. And they've had some cases where the minor is even told like, hey, if you don't come meet me in person and do X, Y, and Z, then we're going to, then I'm going to send these videos that you've sent to everybody. And a lot of times the minors get very scared and they're worried that they're going to get in trouble. And so what I always tell the parents is keep an open line of communication with your children, and regarding what they're doing online, who they're talking to is so important. And just like keep in mind that you want them to know that they can come to you if something happens online, because our cases that are really sad, and they usually start with grooming, are cases that go on for like years because the minor's so scared to tell the parents what's actually going on. Anything to add to that?
We always tell them if I know a lot of kids have a hard time, you know, speaking with parents and stuff like that, but we always tell them find a trusted adult in which they can tell and confide in and have this reported, because we can't do anything we can't act upon anything we don't know about. So the best thing to do is to report it, and we will do our best to investigate it. And if you find anything that's some type of evidence that you believe that there is some inappropriateness going on with a minor and an adult, the one thing that we always say is, please, you know, don't delete anything. Keep what you see, keep what you have, screenshot it. Don't delete the app. These are going to be like very, very, very like crucial information for us. And just because in the long run, once it's deleted, not that it's gone, but it makes it a whole lot harder for us to get, you know, the information back. It takes longer, the legal process. It kind of kills, you know, a time frame that we could have kind of like prevented.
Yeah,
exactly. So, you know, we try to make sure that, you know, that the kids tell someone if this is occurring. It's very important to try to keep that you know, that open communication line with your kids. A lot of the apps that we are seeing, I mostly work child pornography. I'm not really involved with the human trafficking, although I assist in it, but I do most of the child pornography here on our squad. And I can tell you the apps that are like really, really, really like spiraling out of control with obscene materials or adults trying to groom children is Snapchat, TikTok, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. Discord is a very big one. I kind of want to touch a little bit on that because Discord is used a lot and it's a gaming app. It has the ability for you to chat internationally with other people, and that application itself has become a very big problem. I mean, I think if I had $1 every time I got a case with the application Discord, I'll probably be rich by now. So it's a big problem. Please, if your kids are even Roblox. So if your kids are playing these games, just make sure either you could have the ability of disabling the chatting. So just make sure you either make sure you know that who they're talking to, or you can just take off that functionality from the gaming app. So that's just kind of some of the apps that we like to touch upon.
And going back to the video with what you saw where the minor snuck out at night and someone picked them up. So we also work a lot of what we call online enticement cases. And that is usually where someone is chatting with a minor on Instagram. That's where I've had a lot of my cases, or Snapchat, or even through text message. And then they'll eventually get the minor to meet them and send pictures and all sorts of things. And we see the most issues with that and with their ability to meet them are minors who go to sleep, and they do this while their parents are asleep. So we always suggest a way to protect them is take away phones, tablets, anything where they could be chatting with adults or chatting with anybody, or setting up a time and place to meet up with somebody when you've gone to sleep. So a good rule of thumb is just at like a certain time at night, there's no more playing on the internet, there's no more applications there, no cell phone, because honestly, there's no need for them to have it. And that's a good way to prevent them taking inappropriate pictures, meeting up with people they've met online, because that's where we see most of the things happen. It's like the minors are chatting overnight.
Correct.
And and I know some parents and some people think, okay, this is more of an issue maybe when they get in high school, when they're driving, but I actually had a 14-year-old or 13 at the time get picked up from middle school and get picked up in the middle of the night by a predator who was like in his 30s. And so it does happen at all ages. We've had some cases with children as young as 8.
Yeah.
So just don't think, okay, this isn't going to be a problem until they hit this age, because honestly, there are predators out there. And with children having so much access to the internet all the time, they're targeting anybody they can.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. And we always tell the minors, it's not your fault. If a predator does contact them, we always tell them like not to engage them, to block them, don't meet them offline, and tell somebody they trust. But I will caution against blocking them if there has been conversation, because if they have already been chatting with them and they sent pictures, sometimes on some applications, if you block them, you lose everything.
Right.
And so if this is going to be something that you end up going to law enforcement about, again, like she said, it's really important for us to be able to see the messages, because if there's somebody out there targeting children, we don't want to have to wait for search warrants back from Instagram for months. We want to be able to move forward and go arrest them sooner than later, because they're probably targeting other children.
Right. And if you also read some of the conversations and you come to see that the person is trying to get your child to move to a different platform, that's a really big, that's a red flag. So there is no reason as to why a conversation starts from Instagram and all of a sudden they want to move over to Kick, or they want to move over to Facebook. When they want to switch that platform, it's because they're extremely comfortable utilizing that platform. So they try to kind of basically hide what they're doing. So if you ever see that where they're offering to move them from one app to the other, that's a red flag. Just be mindful of that.
And we always talk about how fast information online can spread. So, once a picture sent, a message is, written and sent, it can spread quickly to a lot of people, because really when something's sent, no one can control who's screenshotting it and who they're sending it to. And it's permanent. It's always out there. Like once something is sent, once something is posted on the internet, that application owns that picture, that application owns that message. And the minute someone press send or they post something, they do not have any control over what's happening. And so we just really stress that to the students we talk to, because sometimes I think like they're not thinking it's a big deal. They're thinking they trust the person they send it to. But honestly, anytime you're putting something in writing or taking a picture of something that would be embarrassing, you know, if your parents were to see it, like, it's probably not a good idea to send it.
Right. So this is just a quick video of how this individual could do six clicks and basically find out more information about the person. So we have a lot of students who figured or who think, okay, if I use Instagram, there's no way you can link that over to my Facebook or to another application. Well, unfortunately, that's wrong. I've always stressed to them that some of these applications, when you open them up, they request your name, your full name, your phone number, your email address. So all that, it starts being stored somewhere. So if you use another application and you utilize your email, sometimes when the person Googles that, they can find both applications. So we just tell them to be mindful of the things that they of the applications that they open up. And
parents also be very careful regarding what you're posting, because sometimes it might just be like, I'm so proud of my child. They, you know, made the honor roll at this school, or they played in this sports team. But like, keep in mind that if you have a predator targeting children or targeting your child in particular, if you post too much information online, they can figure out where they go to school, what their schedule is, what sports they play, what times they have games, what days, what locations. So be very careful about posting information about your children online.
Right. And which also brings me to my next point. I was kind of surprised as to how many students, how many kids actually leave their social media open to the public. And the best way that I could describe it to them is, I said, hey, you know, when you go to sleep at night, you know, your parents lock the front door, right? And everybody said, yes. Why? Oh, so people don't come in, strangers don't break in. Of course. But what they don't know is that they're doing the exact same thing with their social media. Allowing, you know, keeping that social media open, you allow perfect strangers to come in and view the content that they're uploading. So once again, they got to be mindful of that, because once you upload a picture, it no longer belongs to you. So we just tell them, listen, if you're going to use social media, please just take the extra, you know, cautious steps and keep your page private. That's as best if they're going to do that, that's the best thing that they can possibly do.
And make sure their location services and everything are turned off. I always say it's fine if you have like a location service on, like Live 360, so you can track kind of where they are and what they're doing. But regarding like, just keep an eye on their Instagram, keep an eye on their Facebook. But I don't think many children or many kids have Facebook these days. And keep an eye on their Snapchat, like make sure they're not tagging their locations, or they don't have like the Snapchat locations on, because you can actually zoom right in to the house that a person's at if that's on.
Right.
So this entire experiment rests on the idea that people post a lot of information online without really thinking about what that means, especially teens. So I want to put it right in their faces. This is how much I can find out about you in just 6 clicks. And I want them to ask, how much am I really comfortable sharing online? We'll see. I'm always online, so it wouldn't be this big shocker to find any dirt on me. Not too bad, I'm sure.
This phone, it is always with me and I'm always online. It's my boyfriend. Can I get this?
Yeah, I use the internet just as much as anybody else. I got nothing to hide.
Yeah. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I'm there. I post everything online. Everything.
Look, I don't have time to be online. I have track, homework, family game night, dance, and with all of that going on, you want me to tweet about what I had for dinner? So he's definitely gonna find something.
So, you all remember the deal. You agreed to accept my friend request on Facebook, and from there I had just 6 clicks to find out as much as I could about you. Well, today is show and tell, so let's get started. Kayla is lucky number 1. I almost forgot.
Ponies! These are my favorite. How'd you know?
Oh, it was the answer to question number 16 on the 20 things you didn't know about me quiz you posted to Facebook last year.
Huh. I don't even remember that.
So in addition to your favorite childhood toy, I also know your favorite books, movies, TV shows. Nothing too serious until... You might not be happy to hear this, but your mom has decided not to get you those 5-inch stilettos you wanted.
But I have to have those. Wait, I didn't write about that.
No, you didn't. But your mom did. And the email address she has linked to her Facebook account is the same one she uses for her mommy blog.
Her what?
Oh yeah, she has a great mommy blog. Very popular. There was this hysterical entry a couple weeks ago about your dandruff.
Oh.
Wait. She was writing about the shoes. She's decided they're just too old for you.
What was that? I mean, I know what I post online, and I'm fine with it. Ponies? Yeah, big deal. But when my mother blogs about me, that is not okay.
Next up, Nick. Or should I call you Captain Chicken Vomit?
Ew.
What's wrong with that? That is you, right? Captain Chicken Vomit is one of your gamer tags?
Yeah, I thought you were only using Facebook. How did you even find that?
No, I said I had 6 clicks. I didn't say all 6 had to be on Facebook. But this was easy to find. All I did was Google your email address. What was a little harder to find was this. You used that same gamer tag as your profile on this music site. And it looks like your favorite playlist includes songs from 90s boy bands.
Dude, that's not cool.
Your personal favorite appears to be Feeling You. You played it a total of 76 times.
That was for this girl. Oh, she hangs
Does
out
she
sometimes.
exist? Totally.
That wasn't for me. I didn't listen to that. Look, I don't listen to cheesy boy bands, okay? I don't. He found a few accounts online. It's no big deal. Those weren't my playlists.
So, Will, you were a bit of a challenge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is it. You don't seem to spend much time online.
Get some friends, man.
I couldn't find any trace of you on Instagram or Twitter, anything really.
Dude, you don't exist.
It's called having a life. He found exactly what I thought he'd find. Absolutely nothing. And that's how I like it.
My turn. So, what'd you find out?
Well, you are quite the open book. It's like your entire life is documented online, and it wasn't hard to find all of your accounts. Here we see some of your mini sketches, and this album I found a picture of everything you ate last month.
Yeah, I was experimenting with food blogging.
Here we have a list of every single place you checked into just in the last week, but I've got a list going back to last year.
Yep, I always check in.
Speaking of which, 8 months ago you tried a goat's milk smoothie with your friend Nikki. She loved it, but you said it made you, and I quote, BFFs with my toilet for over an hour.
Who says that? Yeah, some people think I overshare. That's me. I don't do anything I'm ashamed of, so why would I care if people know?
Logan, you, sir, are cheating on your girlfriend.
Whoa. Where did you hear that lie from?
Oh, I'm certain it's not a lie. I have ample evidence to prove that you are, in fact, cheating on your girlfriend with her best friend.
Oh, that's wrong.
What evidence is that?
I noticed a cryptic post on your wall where she called you Double O. So I ran a search and found a Twitter account for Double O that you were using to share secret messages.
You're such a jerk.
Yeah, seriously, Logan.
And it's definitely your account, because the profile picture matches the one from your Facebook. You should really consider changing your pictures more often.
Oh, my girlfriend's gonna kill me.
Which one?
How did that just happen? I had everything under control. Separate accounts, different usernames. Are we done here?
Well, that was interesting. Very, very interesting. It surprised some people. Probably not some others. Either way, I think they're all leaving here today with two questions. What information about me is online for people to find? And do I want them to find it? Maybe it's time for you to start asking yourself these questions.
So I always think that video is good for everyone to see and not just the students, because we can all be a little more mindful of what we're putting out there and just how easy it is to connect so many different forms of social media.
Right.
And we talk about like putting personal information out there, any addresses, financial information, social security number, their schedule, full name. So all of those things are things that they should not voluntarily share anywhere. A lot of the applications require some of this stuff in order to sign up for them. So especially if they're not even of age to sign up for some of the applications, such as like TikTok. What's the age on that?
I believe 13.
Right. 13's the age on TikTok. We have a lot of fifth graders, a lot of even second graders that have TikToks. And I don't know if you check after or check behind them on TikTok, but there is definitely content up there that's not appropriate for a child to view. But also anytime they sign up for any kind of social media, it's going to ask for certain personal information. So they should be running that by their parents anyway before they sign up. But again, just keep in mind, just check behind them on social media, make sure their phone number is not visible to everybody, make sure their email address isn't visible, and hide and make it as private as possible.
Right.
And again, here's some things to think about regarding just like securing your different accounts, having a different password for each account. Again, the privacy settings, make sure it's set to be as private as possible. Remember who you friend. We see a lot of cases where the predator will target like a friend group and they'll add one person and then they'll start adding all of their friends, and the friends think, oh, we have this mutual friend, so I must know this person, or oh, this person's okay to talk to or to add because my friend knows them, when really the person knows no one in the group. One person has made the mistake by adding him. So make sure you're keeping an eye on who your children are friends with,
Right.
or who they follow. Make sure you know them personally or that they know them personally. Because again, that's the predators kind of just start following friend groups. That's what we see a lot. And again, location services, turn off your location services where you can. Really limit access to your location because your phone's tracking everywhere you're going, and it can be really dangerous for children to have location on.
On the passwords, the sharing of the passwords, that's very crucial. Just please make sure to like tell the kids like not to share the passwords with their friends. And because one of the example is we did have a subject in the UK, and he was actually blackmailing a minor, and that minor had her friend's password to one of the social media accounts. So he forced it out of her. She shared the password and she became the next victim because he was able to retrieve all of her pictures from her social media account. So please stress to them, do not share passwords. Doesn't matter if they're best friends, like we always say, sometimes one day we're good and next week we might have a falling out. So just be mindful of that and make sure, that they keep the passwords to themselves.
But the parents should have the passwords.
Right.
You should know the passwords, and if they change them, they should tell you any changes, because honestly, they can hide so much if you don't have access to messages or what they're doing on there. Okay, and we talk about inappropriate content that we see a lot of students post, drinking and drug use, hate speech, lewd gestures, profanity, revealing images, or threatening messages or threats. So we just strongly advise not to post this, and just reiterate the importance of, displaying yourself in a respectful manner, because colleges are looking at that, future employers are looking at that. And again, once you put something in writing, it's always there. But sometimes they have to learn the hard way, and they will make mistakes. They will post stuff they're not supposed to. And that's why it's so important for the parents to monitor what they're doing. And we always tell them to just think about, like, I always use the example, if we were to put this picture up or this message up for the whole auditorium to see, or for your parents to see, or your entire family, would you be embarrassed? Because if you would be embarrassed for your parents to see what you're posting or what you're writing, you probably shouldn't write it. And this is something that probably needs to be talked about a little bit more. And again, with some of the younger grades, we obviously don't go into that because, they're not quite of the age that I think it's appropriate for them. But sexting is a big problem. And we see that with like messages or pictures, and we see it amongst the kids at school, but we also see it sometimes with predators.
Right.
On the federal side, we're not going to charge minors, or we typically don't, for child pornography, but the state side will. So that's something else to keep in mind, that if your child is asking, like, for example, if your child's asking his girlfriend to send naked pictures, he could be charged with child pornography on the state side. And then your child's a sex offender, that's on the record. So just reiterate the importance of not sending pictures, not asking for pictures, because again, it could completely ruin their record.
Right. Yeah, it falls under online enticement, possession, distribution. We always reiterate, it's not a good situation to be in.
Can you tell the example where they sold the picture?
I actually had a case not too long ago. They were minors at the time, boyfriend, girlfriend. She allowed her boyfriend to basically record anything they did. They had a falling out, they broke up, and in return, he sold her pictures and videos online. So like I said, I always tell kids, hey, listen, if you have someone that's asking you for, inappropriate pictures, you most likely shouldn't be with that person. If it's an adult, it's obviously very inappropriate. Tell your parents. This is an issue that I think that a lot of people don't think that it's occurring with younger kids. One of my last cases was with a 10-year-old, and it was sexting. And when I read the report, I thought you could swear it was like an older person writing the stuff that this 10-year-old was writing. So unfortunately, the generation is kind of growing up a little quicker, especially with having technology at the tip of their fingers. So like she was saying, as long as we just try to stay on top of them, we can prevent a lot of things.
One, it's not even having the access to the internet, but also like just the kind of content they have access to, because there aren't many restrictions on like TikTok on what they're seeing. And some of the content posted is really more 18 and over content. Right. Like a 10-year-old should not see it.
Right.
And then the music they're listening to, everything is just promoting, it's very sexualized, and it's promoting this stuff. So I feel like children aren't thinking twice when it comes to sexting or sending a picture, because they hear it all the time within the music they're seeing, the videos they're watching online. It's everywhere.
Right. And I like this upcoming video because this is exactly how things play out. I think this video shows exactly what kids are doing nowadays, how the situation unravels in not a good way. And it's basically, it's the perfect example of what's being done and why, you know, whether you're a minor or, we just tell them plain and simple, whether you're a minor or not, just don't send any pictures. Once it gets up on the cloud and you send it out, it's, you no longer have a decision over what happens to that picture.
Check this out. Hold up. Whoa. Oh man. Yo, send that to me real quick. I'm not gonna. Come on, send that to me. Yo, blow that full screen. Look at that, boys. Check that out, boys. I gotta. I had to send this to Mark.
So again, that just shows you that the image went all around school and it ended up getting back to the girl's brother, the mom, and then a predator. We also discussed cyberbullying, and we're seeing an increase in that, obviously, since it's just so easy to hide behind a computer screen or behind a cell phone and write anything. And a lot of the students we talk to have experienced cyberbullying in some form or fashion, and they definitely know what it is. So again, that's any kind of, like, you know, creating a hate group, posting mean comments, making like embarrassing photos of somebody, recording and posting fight videos, spreading any kind of rumors or gossip, and all of that can be charged at the state level.
Correct. We are one of the states that fortunately do charge for bullying. So you know, we always try to make it clear that it doesn't matter if you're a minor, we can still press state charges, and we will proceed to the fullest. I tell kids, just be mindful of the things you send out. Text messages, emails, they work the same way as images and videos do. Once you send them, they can't be taken back. I always say that if you try to delete it, you can attempt to delete it all you want, even though you have, it's still floating somewhere in the cloud. All I have to do is do the legal process, and they will retrieve those messages. So, you know, not to put themselves in a bad position, or, you know, just treat one another with kindness. And if you don't like the person, you guys go separate ways. But I think we try to stress a lot that bullying is a big issue that we're having, and it's something that we will proceed with if it occurs. We're not going to show you the next video because it's rather long. You guys can YouTube it if you like. It's based on a true story. Her name is Amanda Todd. Unfortunately, due to cyberbullying and bullying, she ended up committing suicide. And if I'm correct, I believe she was either 15 or 16 years old. And it all started with an online predator. She did not tell her mother. It kind of spiraled out of control. And unfortunately, the pictures that she had provided to the predator made it onto school grounds. So it's definitely a very, very sad story. No one stopped it. No one stopped the bullying. Everyone knew about it. And unfortunately, she lost the battle. So it's very interesting to watch the video. She actually made the video. It's up on YouTube, and she did it. I believe it was a little bit before she committed suicide.
So these are things you can look out for, like different signs with your children to see if something might be going on. And this kind of is cyberbullying, but this also goes to sextortion and anything else. If they have low self-esteem, if they start withdrawing and they're like not really wanting to talk to their friends, not coming out of their room a lot, not wanting to go to school, if they get very nervous or scared about going to school, that's a good chance that they're probably being bullied somehow. If they feel very lonely. But again, you know your children better than anyone. So if there's a behavioral change, have a conversation, because something might be going on with some of the stuff we're talking about.
Right.
And then again, we just always tell them not to respond, block the bully, save whatever evidence, take screenshots, take videos of the evidence, set up new accounts, report it to whatever social media site this is occurring on, and then talk to an adult. But also we really stress the importance of not encouraging the bully, like don't interact with the posts, don't like them, don't laugh, because you interacting is kind of making them continue to bully whoever they're bullying.
Right. And we also stress that if you receive a video or an image that's explicit, inappropriate, and you continue to just it goes circling around, they're held liable and responsible for that image, and that's considered distribution of child pornography. So like I always tell them, just be mindful of the stuff that you send out.
Yep. Okay, and one thing that I did want to touch on for the parents, which is human trafficking. So again, that's a buzzword now. It's something that we see a lot around here, but some things to look out for online, like our typical human trafficking victims, and I'm not going to say always, but typical, they're usually in foster care. They usually come from broken homes. They don't have a lot of parental guidance or any kind of positive influences in their life. But I am seeing a trend, and you are as well, online, that could cause problems with this in the future. So one thing that's kind of glamorized on some of the social media, like TikTok or Instagram, is like OnlyFans. Or I've seen TikToks or heard about TikToks where, you know, they're glamorizing like prostitution in a way that they are, you know, with this pimp, with the trafficker, they're making all this money. He's buying them the fancy purses, he's doing this, or they're glamorizing sex work. And so when you have applications glamorizing this stuff, and you have children that are way too young to see this stuff, they could get the idea that this is an easy way to make money, and that this is something that they could do. And it becomes a problem because it's like a way to recruit minors or recruit kids who are potentially interested in that or thinking about that or want to make money. So as a parent, if your child is coming home with more money and you don't know where it's coming from, that's something to keep in mind. If they're coming home with another phone that you're like, or if you find an extra phone, that's a big red flag. If they start spending time with older females, like females who are 18, 19, that's a red flag. So those are all things to look out for, because I see the recruitment out there. They're able to reach a wide range of children, and then Miami, this area is really glamorized because it is known for like partying at nice weather. It's a tourist destination. So just be aware of certain things to look out for there.
Especially with the befriending of older females.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't see anything wrong with it because
It's a female.
it's a female,
yeah.
so they're not really looked much as subjects, but they are just as much as the problem as the trafficker is. So just kind of be mindful of that. Like we said, predators and traffickers, they don't have, it's just not one image. It can be any type of person. They can be black, white, Hispanic. It could be any type. So
Male,
just
female.
male, female. So just be mindful of that.
And the thing is, again, it can be very tempting for, young, especially young females. I see this more with them. It can be very tempting to get into the lifestyle, and they can be recruited by pimp and not even realize it, because it starts off as like, oh, this person likes me. We're hanging out, we're dating, he's giving me money, he's buying me nice things, he's taking me on trips. And then next thing you know, it's, hey, if you love me, you're going to have sex with this person. You're going to make money for us. You have to make money for us. And so if you're just aware of what to look out for and aware of where they might be doing recruiting online, then that's something that you can prevent and have the open conversation with them about.
Right.
And we'll take any questions with whatever time we have left. I know it's late, so I appreciate your attention. I appreciate you being here later in the evening, and I hope that this was helpful. Yeah. So we'll take any questions.
Okay, thank you so much. If you want to put your questions in the chat or raise a virtual hand, we can call on you. Oh, and Detective, can you stop the share screen? Then I think that'll
Yeah.
be easier to see people.
Oh, stop.
Okay, great. Thank you. So that was wonderful. Thank you so much. I know you could probably talk
I
on
have a
and on
question.
all night.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I see at the schools, we have a lot of security and everything's fantastic and I really trust, and then I thank you, everybody. But what about indoors? Is there like young adults in there that are kind of like watching over the children, making sure that everything's kind of cool, everything is kosher, as they say? Because inside the classes also, I'm sure there's got to be something going on. That's how they all begin, right? Or is it only over the internet that it's happening? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Yes, we
could
hear.
hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
So I can't speak upon what each school is doing, because every school has like a different way to make things secure. We have some schools that they don't allow phones. So I think cell phones are probably our biggest issue, because when you have a phone, you can do the cyberbullying, you can take the pictures, you can send stuff to each other at school. So again, I can't speak to what this particular school is doing, but a good rule of thumb is like no cell phones, because they cause a lot of problems. And I understand having them to call parents at the end of the day, having them for emergencies, but when they bring them into the classroom, you do run the risk of having the bullying. With regards to this happening online, no, it doesn't always happen online. We have a lot of cases that are dealing with, and I always hate saying this because I don't want to alarm anybody, but we have a lot of cases that are dealing with like coaches, teachers, community leaders, people that put themselves in a position to have access to children. So have the open conversations with the children, let them know right from wrong, make sure they feel comfortable talking to you about that, because the grooming can happen with adults close to them in their lives. It's not always going to be somebody online that you don't know. The grooming can happen with family members. We see that a lot, probably more so than teachers and coaches. It's somebody in the family. So again, you know your children. If they start acting in a way that is unusual for them, have the conversations with them, make sure nothing's going on. But again, with the school, can't say what the school is doing, because every school is a little bit different, but no cell phones is always a pretty good idea.
And just basically pay attention who they're hanging out with, because we recently had a case and actually went federal where it was a minor and the minor was recruiting other minors. So it's not that it does not exist. It's very well possible. We just got to pay attention to if the kids are acting different and who they're hanging out with, what exactly they're doing. So it's just like she says, it kind of depends. It's placed both on the outside and the inside.
And my particular dealings with the staff at this school and the school environment, I can't make any promises that it's always safe and that nothing's going to happen, but the staff cares. They're on top of stuff. They obviously are making this a priority, having us talk to the children and having us talk to the parents. So again, I can't say that for every school that we've been to, but the staff here cares, and they have a very positive environment at the school. And I believe they have like an open door policy where if something's going on with one of the children, I think that they would, one of the kids, that I think they would feel very comfortable talking to the staff there.
Thank you. We had a question come in over the chat. Are
Okay.
there any good tracking apps to track websites visited, photos shared? Do you have any recommendations for that?
Sujey does.
I know one of the applications that is used is Family Link, and that basically it tells you the applications that your kid is on, and it actually shows you how long they've been on it, and it actually gives you the ability to shut off their phone after a certain time. So basically,
Our lights turn off
Sorry.
after a certain time.
so basically it allows you to control and monitor their phone. There is
Life
another
360 is another one
Yeah.
with tracking location. And I believe when your kids start driving, it can tell you like exactly how fast they're going and everything.
Right. There's I'm pretty sure if you Google the application, it'll give you some good ones, but I know I actually have a detective that works with me. She uses Family Link, and she unplugs the internet, and with like 2.5 seconds, her son is calling asking as to why the internet got disconnected. So, and that's from her doing it from work. So she's able to see how much he spends on, on each application. So I think that's an awesome tool to use. Another website that's been very, very helpful. I don't know if you guys noticed, the presentation that we showed had the netsmart.org. That website is phenomenal with internet safety and giving you guys tips on how to deal with certain situations.
Yeah, one parent mentioned that Circle by Disney is also an application to track activity. Do you know anything about that one?
I do not
No,
personally.
that one
All right, I'm sure there's a lot of things out there. It's good to share.
I have a
with other
dog and he doesn't have social media, so
Not
I don't
yet.
have to track. I don't have anybody to track, thankfully.
Okay, I know it's almost 9 o'clock. Do we have any other questions? 'Cause I know it's getting late. I'm sure you guys are tired. Okay, well, we're gonna quickly do our raffle. I'll share my screen. Hold on a second.
And if anyone thinks of other questions or concerns, because I know we threw a lot of information at you, please pass it along because they can get the questions to us and we can make sure they're answered.
Edna Frankel, the winner tonight. Oh, did you not see that? Was my screen not shared, Rena?
No, we didn't see. It's
Oh,
okay.
no. All right, it was Edna Frankel. Okay. All right.
We will send
Well-
you for the book.
All right, well, if there aren't any other questions, we just want to thank Detective Espinoza and Special Agent Darden so much. I think this was really, really informative. Every time I hear your presentation, I learned something else. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thank you
thank you
so
guys.
much for having
Yes,
us.
thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.